Hello folks, this short video is going to show you how to replace the nose bearing for the Makita Powerfile. These bearings do get very hot when we use them for boring and for very long periods of time, and the bearings eventually fail after several months. So instead of having to replace the whole arm at the cost of over £20, I'm going to show you how you can just replace the bearing at the tip of the arm here. Thanks. Okay, so here is the Powerfile with the arm still attached. What we need to do is undo the screw here, take that screw right out and pull the arm from the Powerfile. Once you've got that arm out, that's where the screw went there, it's much easier to handle and it's not as heavy and cumbersome. This is a bit of a three-handed job. You just have to make do with the two that we're given. What we're going to do is just use the jaws of the vise here to make a small gap that will allow me to drift this pin out of the end of the arm. The sides of the jaws here are going to support the sides of the metal on the arm, and nothing gets bent. So hopefully this will work. Just using a small cross pane hammer here just to drift this pin out. You can see it's starting to come. As you can see, this bearing is completely failed. A little bit more. And to try and leave the pin in the arm without completely removing it. A little bit more. Okay. So there you can see the pin still remaining, which will help me put it back in. You can put the hammer down. I can see that the bearing is just completely destroyed inside. We should have two washers that we want to keep. Oh, there's the other one. So we've got two washers that sit on either side of the bearing when it goes back into the frame that holds it. So I sell these good quality replacement bearings for £2.50 currently. They seem to be exactly the right size and last a good amount of time. But what we need to do is, as you can see, is take this outer ring here and pop the new bearing inside. So I'm going to open the vice jaws, just move these washers before I lose them. I'm going to open the vice jaws up to support that metal ring. I'm going to take my drift that I've made from just a piece of, I think it's 1/2 inch round stock, and I've just taken it down on the bench grinder so that it's just the right size to push out the outside of the bearing race from the metal ring that supports the Powerfile belt. So that's it. It's quite simple. That's the outside of the bearing race. This is the ring that we need to keep to put the new bearing into. Get rid of that. Now I can close the jaws. Sit the bearing on top and try not to hit my fingers. So there we go, just gently, very gently just tap the new bearing into place. Make sure it's fairly even, it needs to come through just a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now what I need to do, I'm just going to clean up the arm of the Powerfile here. It seems to be a little corroded and just going to remove some of that old dust and grit. Hopefully it make the bearing last a little bit longer. I'm going to take my two washers, place those either side of the bearing, pop that back in, attempt to hold it all in place. Use the cross pin and the hammer just to try. Oh. Just dropped a washer. So the pin's starting to come through. Pop the washer into the other side. And there we go. One nice freely moving nose bearing ready to go. And what I recommend doing is do buy one of these spare arms at least once, so that you can have a spare if you're on a job. You melt one of the bearings, you whip out the screw, replace the arm, and then at a later date when you get home you can fiddle around like this and just replace the bearing in a few minutes. Okay, thanks for watching.